Vidyavali said, "This is the most dangerous type of snake bite. I have had to call the snake himself to take the poison out himself. He has just arrived, but he is not willing to help." And Jatila said, "What's wrong? What's wrong with the snake? Can I help in any way? I'll do anything. Does he want to bite me?" Then the snake spoke, it was Vidyavali actually. So the snake said, "I am the snake of Lord Shiva. I have come all the way from Kailash to kill you." Jatila said, "To kill me? Well, kill me, but save her. Why did you bite her if you want to kill me?" The snake said, "Tomorrow I will bite your son, Abhimanyu." And Jatila said, "But why then you want to kill me?" The snake said, "If I bit you, you would die in 1 hour. But by killing your son and daughter-in-law, your life will be worse than death for many years." And Jatila said, "But what did I do? You want to bite me? Just come here and bite me, but save her." Then the snake said, "You have offended the Lord of my Lord Shiva. My Lord Shiva, his Lord is Krishna. You have offended Sri Krishna by accusing him of being of low character, whereas actually he is the purest of the pure." And Jatila said, I'm sorry, I won't do it again." And the snake said, you must take a vow. You will never accuse Radharani and Krishna anymore. You will never stop them from doing anything anymore. And you will go and tell all the people of Vraja that they are the most wonderful and pure people. You take this vow, otherwise I will bite her again. Jatila said, yes, I vow. I'll let them meet, I'll let them do anything. Just save her, please. So the snake said, all right, I will take out the poison. A few minutes later, the door opened. There was Vidyavali, very happy, and Radharani in ecstasy, just glowing with happiness, which is only natural after having a couple of hours of uninterrupted pastimes with Krishna. And Jatila was so happy. She said, Radharani, you come here. She said, you see Vidyavali? You go and give her a big hug. Radharani was just a little taken aback. Because, of course, normally Jatila would never say that if she knew. Oh. And Jatila saw Radharani apparently hesitate. And she said, why you hesitate? Don't you stop. You just hug her, go on. And she pushed Radharani. Hug this Vidyavali. Give her a big hug. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written a very nice verse, which unfortunately I don't know, but the translation basically is, Radharani is saying, how amazing this is, that very person who I can hardly meet, who I struggle to meet, with the greatest difficulty because of the interference of this Jatila. And Abhimanyu, the husband, was also saying, go and embrace her. Embrace her. And also my husband, who would never let me meet Krishna. But now I am embracing the same person by their order. How amazing, how wonderful. So like this, you see, you get these most incredible pastimes happening here. So you might wonder, who is this Jatila? Trying to stop Krishna. She's always thinking of Krishna, how to stop him. I don't like Krishna. I hope Krishna doesn't come. If he comes, I'm going to chase him away. She's thinking like that. So who is this Jatila and who is this Abhimanyu? I mean, we've come here in the material world because we wanted to compete with Krishna. But none of us have tried to steal away Radharani, have we? Just some of his money and, some other conditioned soul who should be with him but who's also strayed away. So who is this Abhimanyu then? Is he some sort of special conditioned soul? Big, powerful conditioned soul who has somehow challenged Krishna by stealing away Radharani? Who is this Abhimanyu? Well, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, he is not an ordinary person. He is a special incarnation of Krishna. Abhimanyu is Krishna's shadow. Now we have our shadows and, obviously our shadow looks like us. So Krishna's shadow, it looks like him. But our shadow is not alive, but Krishna's shadow is alive and conscious. That is Abhimanyu. So there are here informal deities of Jatila, Kutila and Abhimanyu. And when you see them, when you have darshan of them just now, you'll see that Abhimanyu looks something like Krishna. He's also darkish blue, but he has this mean look in his eyes, this rascal look, like chore, chore, chupke, like he's a thief or some sort of mischievous person. You'll see that. Yeah, and their consciousness is Radharani. How to protect Radharani. How to look after Radharani. They're fixed in Radharani consciousness, like this. So this is just cut here in Yavat. I think now we'll take prasad, but before we do, if you haven't had darshan, come in and have darshan. And over here on my left, inside, are the deities, informal deities, they're very rough, of Jatila, Kutila and Abhimanyu. So you can have darshan of them also.
This is Terikadamba. As Maharaj was introducing, he said this is the place between Varshana and Nandagram, or Yavad and Nandagram. Radharani is living with her husband Abhimanyu and Yavad, and Krishna is living with his parents in Nandagram. And this Terikadamba, this is the place that Krishna, in the evening, he would call his cows together before returning home. As we know, one of Krishna's daily pastimes was every day was to go out with the cows and the calves and graze them in the tender grasses of the Vrindavan forests. So towards the evening time, or late afternoon, he would gather those cows and take them back to Nandagram. So there's a special tree, I don't know if it's the original tree, but there's a place marking where the Leela took place, that Krishna would climb the tree. Rupa Goswami describes, he would climb the tree and he would call his cows by their different names. As those cows would come in, Krishna had a strand of pearls and he would pull one pearl down for each cow that came. So someone, not a devotee, but someone may question, how did Krishna know the names of 900,000? How did he remember all those cows? Chanakya Pandit, who wrote, among other things, Nitya Shastra, he gives the example that just as a cow can see her calf or locate her calf amongst hundreds of other, thousands of other calves, so out of love, the Supreme Personality of Godhead can recognize his devotee amongst millions and millions of persons. So Krishna was able to remember the name of each and every calf because of intense love. And the cows, they would not hesitate to come when Krishna called them out of intense love. And Jiva Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami has described, given a nice description of those cows. He said there were 4 basic colors, black, white, red, and yellow. But just like a painter, he has his basic colors, but he mixes them and he gets different colors. So when those 4 primary colors were mixed, and you throw in the speckled cows, he said, because some of them were speckled, they were different speckled, and some of them had mridanga-like faces, then you get 108,000 groups of cows, varieties of colors. That's a description. And Krishna would call them, they would come, and he would pull down the counter beads. And this way he would herd his cows, and he would take them back to Nandagram. So this is that pastoral area, and you can see even today it's very, very beautiful. And as Maharaj was saying, this spot right here was one of the principal places that Sri Rupa Goswami would do his bhajan. I mentioned to you when we first began our parikrama, we would be traveling all over Vrindavan just like the Goswamis did, but they had their special places they would do bhajan. We mentioned Sanatan Goswami. He had his place at Madan Mohan, where now the temple of Madan Mohan is, a little hill which used to be just above the Jamuna River as it flowed by. He had a place out at Manasi Ganga, and he had another place just not far from, just at the base of Pavana Sarovar, a lake at the base of Nandagram. So we all know, because we visited Radha Damodar temple, Rupa Goswami, he had a bhajan kutir in Sevakunj, the place of the Ras Leela. And to Srila Jiva Goswami, he later desired to build his temple for Damodar there. So that also became the Samadhi Mandir, the place of the Samadhi Mandir of Sri Rupa Goswami. So this is another place that Rupa Goswami would come and he would write his Bhakti Shastris. Prahlad quoted a very beautiful verse which we sing. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Sva Padantika. That when will I be fortunate to receive the mercy of Sri Rupa Goswami? We very much desire the mercy of Sri Rupa Goswami because he's the Rasikacharya. When he met Lord Chaitanya at Allahabad, just after his departure from Bengal on the way to Vrindavan, Lord Chaitanya very kindly revealed to Sri Rupa Goswami the deeper mellows of devotional service to Krishna. As we discussed the other day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, although he's the Yuga avatar, he's giving the process for awakening our love for God in this age. Amazingly enough, he only wrote 8 stanzas on the science of devotional service called the Shikshashtakam. Generally such a erudite personality, such a saintly person would to speak of an incarnation of God, one might think that he would write volumes and volumes of literature for the benefit of human society. When Krishna came, at least he gave his Gita, his Bhagavad Gita, 800 verses. But Lord Chaitanya, although he only wrote 8 verses, he used as his mouthpiece the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. As we know, one of his instructions, one of his principal instructions to the 6 Goswamis, who were his most intimate followers, was to write books on the science of devotional service. And he instructed them accordingly. When he met Srila Sanatana Goswami in Varanasi, in Benares, he instructed Srila Sanatana Goswami in the basic principles, in the principle of Vaidhi Bhakti, developing Shraddhan Bhakti, following all the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness and developing our relationship with Krishna, the foundation of our devotional lives. That we find in Hari Bhakti Vilas, which is attributed, of course, both to Sanatana Goswami and to Gopal Bhatt Goswami. But you could say that Gopal Bhatt Goswami, he acted like an editor in refining that scripture written by Srila Sanatana Goswami. But the deeper mellows of devotional service, the rasa, the feelings that one develops in awakening his love for Krishna, in one of the primary rasas, that was elaborated on by Srila Rupa Goswami. Actually, that subject matter of love of God, that was revealed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rupa Goswami glorified him like that. Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gurutvase Namaha. That there are so many incarnations of God, but you're the most magnificent because you come and you give actual love of God to those who are the most fallen. This is your amazing mercy. Of course, in every spiritual tradition, there is the theme of love of God. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the first incarnation of God and the first one to reveal the deeper mellows of devotional service, of Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes, where the Lord becomes subservient to the loving feelings of his devotees and acts as if an ordinary person enjoying mellows of friendship and conjugal love and the childhood pastimes with his devotees. And in particular, Lord Chaitanya revealed the loving sentiments of the gopis of Vrindavan. So how did he deliver that to the world? How did he help the world understand the philosophical understanding of that? Through the writings of Srila Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami described that science of developing this ecstatic mood of the Brajabasis, their love for Krishna, and at the same time he wrote about those pastimes. He described those pastimes in detail to us. Someone may criticize that all the Leelas that we've been hearing about the last few days, in particular as we go to Varshana and we're here at Yavat and on to Nandagram, someone may say, but where is this in the Vedas? We don't see this in the Vedas, the main body of Vedic scriptures. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he describes that these very beautiful pastimes described in particular by the 6 Goswamis and later on by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Narottam Das Thakur, these pastimes described by them are as good as the Vedas.
No, but
Better than Vedas. The main subject Vedas is elevation to Svargaloka, but there's some mention of Vaikuntha. But even beyond the official kingdom of God, there's Krishna's sporting pastimes with his devotees in Goloka Vrindavan. How is it that Rupa Goswami is able to describe? Because he's an intimate participant in these pastimes. In his position in the spiritual world, he's Rupa Manjari. He's the personal assistant of Lalita Saki, who's the, as Prahlad describes, the guru of the other gopis. Lord Chaitanya, as Narottam describes, he's brought the whole globe, the whole spiritual world down to the earth planet in the form of Gokul Vrindavan. So the same personalities who are participating in Lord Chaitanya, in Lord Krishna's pastimes in Goloka, are now participating in Krishna's pastimes as Lord Chaitanya, as his devotees in his earthly pastimes. Very easy for Rupa Goswami to write about these ecstatic pastimes of love of God, to very kindly share them with us, to give us an impetus to get out of this tabernacle of material existence, where these relationships in the material plane are very unsatisfying and unfulfilling. Knowing the mind of Lord Chaitanya, what Lord Chaitanya's mood was, he could very easily write about these leelas. So this is one place he would write. It's said that he wrote his Upadeshamrita here. It's also described that whenever he would write about Vipralamba Bhav, or the mood of separation, as we've been hearing about the mood of separation from Krishna, all the leaves on the trees around here, they would dry up and fall down on the ground. And then when he would write about Sambhog, about the union with Krishna, then all the trees here, they would blossom again. Their leaves and their flowers and their fruits would immediately blossom. So he would write in. Sanatana Goswami, he had his Bhajan Kutir a little bit further down. We'll be going to Pavaneswarovar. So one day it was Srila Sanatana Goswami's appearance day. And Rupa Goswami, of course, he was younger than Sanatana Goswami, so he always considered, in many ways, always, that Sanatana Goswami was his guru. So he was sitting here on that auspicious day.